Hey guys, we're back at the ranch. We're talking about arrows and broadheads today, what our setups are and all that. Last year we did a similar video, but I feel like we got too far in the weeds and we kind of talked over the heads of some people. So this year we're gonna try to make it a little bit simpler for y'all. We're gonna talk about our arrow setups, but first we're gonna tell you guys step by step what you need to do if you're gonna try to build a set of hunting arrows this year. Then towards the end of the show here, we'll get into our broadheads and what we like to shoot on each individual setup. But first, what's the first thing? Say I'm a guy that's wanting to build hunting arrows next week. What's the first thing I need to do to get ready this year?
You need to select the proper spine and then this arrow length.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roughly do this. If you're between 55 and 60, 65 pounds, 26 to 30 inch draw, you're probably gonna be in a 300 with 250 grains up front. We're talking about arrows with 100 grain inserts and 125 grains or heavier broadheads. Once you cross about 65 pounds, you're gonna be in a 250. And your draw lengths over the same gap, 26 to 31. Arrows are 32 inches long, so the long arm guys, I'm sorry.
That's if you're trying to shoot the stuff like we're shooting.
That's right.
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
And you're gonna use Nick as a guinea pig here
to show you how to do arrow length, which is a totally different thing, and it confuses a lot of people because carbon to carbon seems to be confusing. And all it is, and I'm going to show you, we're going to show you this, is the length of the carbon, and then you don't worry about the fact that the knock adds about a 1/4 inch, and then the insert system pushes it out a little bit further. You just need it to clear the riser. Okay, so this is one of Aaron's arrows, and he's got a longer draw length than Nick does, so we're going to use his arrow so that you could, to show you what length to cut the arrows off. So it's pretty simple. Get you a Sharpie and put an arrow on the string.
Obviously need 2 people to do this.
Okay, yeah, you need a second person. Now you be real careful. And what you want to do is you just want to clear the riser. So you want to swing in here, Greg, and really get a good shot of that. So you want to clear the riser. And the reason why you're doing that is, I don't know what bow you own. And there's a ton of platforms, and the risers some are narrow, some are wide. You want their fixed blade broadhead not to go past the riser where it could hit. Go like that, mark right there, it's past the riser. And then we'll measure that. Tape measure. We'll do it the right way. There's our mark. So roughly speaking, you're at 27 3/4 carbon to carbon would be your arrow. So when you add the knock, okay, it goes back to sticking out in front of the riser. And then the sleeve, so the knock would be on there, which we pulled it on the string, okay? And this sleeve system adds about a 1/2 inch to the front. And the sleeve comes back a little bit. But when you saw it when he was at full draw, there's no way the sleeve, the last thing you want to do is get cute and try to find out this distance within a millimeter, because some of them aren't going to be cut the same length, and you're going to have it right up, and that arrow's going to shoot high.
That's not good.
And this arrow's not, especially if you cut your own. So you just want to be out here. This is exactly where you want the sleeve. It will end up about right there. And you're clearing the riser with any fixed blade broadhead on the planet. And that's the right arrow length.
That's the first step. And on Sirius's website, because we're all shooting Sirius arrows right now, that you can do a full custom build of arrows. You can get really into the weeds, but if you use the Ranch Fairy Easy Button arrows, which is what a lot of us have, that's the main thing you need to know. You need to know what your spine is, and you need to know what your carbon to carbon length is. When you go to the Easy Button page. You can pick the Geminis, you can pick Apollos,
you can pick
all
Supernova, whatever.
Yeah.
Correct. And I'm recommending you shoot all white fletch and either a white wrap, obviously, or no wrap. We want you to have the right arrows to be super lethal. So the reason why I like shooting all white is because when you're shooting down range, it is a ball of color going. And white, really, if there's any blood on here, it shows up. Red fletchings, that kind of thing. And I've always seen when I have offset colors, they flicker a little bit and it messes with you, and your arrow flight may be perfect, but your brain doesn't see it. You shoot all white, 3 flesh, 4 flesh, whatever. When it's tailing, it's a ball flying. Like your brain can't pick up the rotation, so it's just a ball. It's also good for shot indication if your lighted nocks don't go off. It's just another thing for you to pick up when you're hunting. So
yeah, and a lot of you asked last year, like, after we were done with the arrow video, a lot of you were like, we just want to shoot the arrows that you guys like, pretty much. So this is the way to do it. Just go to the Ranch Fairy, easy button?
Easy button.
Ranch Fairy easy button on the Sirius website, and you can pick whichever ones. I shoot the Sirius Geminis in 250 spine, and I know what my carbon to carbon length is, so all I do is go on there and you can select, you know, your carbon to carbon length, 250 spine, and then I want 4 fletch white, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And then I get the arrows.
They're 100 grain sleeve systems. They're standardized.
Yep.
We're not messing around. I wanted to make this process as straightforward as possible. You get a 100 grain insert, whether you shoot 125, 150, or 200 up front, that's your deal. And fine.
And now everybody's going to be like, well, what does it weigh? What's your arrow weight? And we don't, I mean, I know we shoot heavier arrows, but it's not like we geek out on like down to the grain or anything.
No.
I've got the Ranch Fairy arrow here.
Yep.
With a 150 grain Magnus single bevel.
If I had to guess, I've got a scale.
60?
Yeah, 560, 570, somewhere in there.
Yep.
Because this is a really light shaft. It's also the most expensive one. Supernova is the like a linear carbon arrow that's on steroids. Those things are really awesome.
Ted's got the Supernova right here.
Yep. And then, well, that's the bloody one.
That's the one that killed that pig. Yep.
And they apparently work.
And which one do you have, Nick?
I got the Orions.
Yeah, he's got the micro.
Yep. Okay. So you kind of got a little flavor there.
We got the Flava Flav.
You got an Orion micro, and then you got
Hitman 2. Look at that. And see that right there? You see that Sharpie right there? That boy's been listening to that idiot named the Ranch Fairy and sharpening in his broadheads apparently. So that's actually a beautiful thing.
Yep.
Sharp really helps.
So you could go to that page and you could get any one of those 3. You know, and we obviously all shoot different draw lengths, and we could go into details about each individual one and like what our individual specs are, but I think this is a more practical way to do it. It's just measure your arrow like he showed you, and then figure out what your spine is, which is going to be confusing to some people.
Yep.
What spine do you shoot?
250.
You shoot a 250?
I got 250s also.
What poundage do you shoot?
70.
70?
70.
70. So all 3 of us are 70 pounds with various draw lengths, like you said. We're all shooting 250.
Yeah. Well, there's only 3 spines.
Yeah.
There's 350, 300, 250. It is what it is.
Yep.
Right? Another thing I wanted to touch on, I prefer mids. This is a 204 mid-diameter arrows, and it's because the broadhead actually screws inside the shaft, inside the insert. So there is a post in here, it's about this long, but there's threads inside. And that's just a structural integrity thing. On the micro arrows, the carbon is all the way flush with the bottom of the insert, and the insert's sticking out there about that far. Is it a huge problem? No, but I've bent a lot of brands of micros because that sleeve is sitting on top of the carbon and not, your broadhead isn't inside the carbon. And I've just been them shooting. Has it happened a ton? No, but I don't shoot 15 deer a year, and I don't want one to get away, right? So just that thing, that's why I prefer the mids, is because your broadhead screws in. So you essentially have aluminum inside, steel on the outside, then you've got the broadhead screwed in, it's layered. So that's just gonna help with that.
One more question about spine. What spine do you shoot, Greg?
250.
You shoot a 250? Zanger shoots a 250. Both of you are at 70 pounds as well?
Hayden's the only one I know that's shooting a 300. When I was shooting a 300 for years, I'd come over here and
we played last year.
Would say, shoot a 250, Zach shoot a 250, Zach shoot a 250, Zach, and maybe 3 years ago now I switched to 250 and my arrow flight's I haven't changed anything since I went to the 250 spine.
It's your wingspan.
Yeah.
I don't know what they feed you guys. Jake's hands drag on the ground, right? And you got a long wingspan.
Yeah.
I don't, right? So when I've always like, it's just you're long, so you're long here, right? You're 29 and a half probably carbon to carbon.
I think it's 28 and a half.
Yeah. So
or 28.5 inch draw.
Yeah, but your arrows are out at 29 and a half.
Yeah.
So what happens is when the arrows get longer, they get softer. When this 6 years, I've always looked at Zach and said, man, you're too long arm for that. Like, you need to stiffen up because of the mass on the front. You're shooting 250 or so up front. It isn't humongously 400 or anything crazy, but what that does is that stick gets longer, and it's just like a 8-foot piece of PVC. You hold it in the middle and it bends, you cut it off 2 feet, the sun gun's gonna be more tapered like this. That's what happens when you launch them. That bend, that gravity's in my example of PVC, when you launch them, if they're too long and too soft, that shaft just bends like a banana at launch and then goes whoom, 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 all the way down range. And it's just like jumping rope and running sideways. The shaft is spinning and flexing and doing this and rolling. You want to talk about a disaster. So you get an underspined arrow, it flexes a bunch, and it's going like this and flying, little light, little crosswind, and it's going like that. High-speed camera is terrifying.
Yeah.
I have no idea how we kill things with an arrow.
Yeah.
Once you start getting into the weeds, you're like, how does that even get there?
But if he was to go from 70 to 60 pounds,
he could shoot a 300.
He'd be looking at a 300.
100%.
Okay.
And I would recommend that. His FOC would go up, his aeroflight would get better.
I feel like your average size guy is, as far as draw length goes, is like kind of between those two, right there.
28 inches is kind of
yeah,
bread and butter length, carbon to carbon. But yeah,
you go north of 65 pounds though, and you go to 250.
As long as you got enough mass up front.
Yeah, with the arrows that we're shooting, guys, and like most of these arrows are between 500 and 600 grains. They're in there. They're in that neighborhood. Most of us are shooting 150 grain broadheads. You know, I'm talking about maybe going up for elk and changing my broadhead setup, but we'll get to that here in a minute. I guess we should talk about broadheads next. Actually, before we do that though, I want to talk to the folks that want to get really in the weeds with arrow tuning. We're showing you guys the easy button here, where you can go buy the arrow, they come fletched, ready to go. You start shooting them. We've had great luck with that. I mean, great flight through our bows. Most of us are shooting adapts from Bear, and these solo cam bows just love these arrows.
Yeah.
We've not had any issues, but if you want to go the full custom route, put on your own vanes, everything, you could Bear shaft tune, which is what I did a few years ago, and that's awesome. Really good. If you can figure out how to do that and you have the patience to go through that, then he's got all kinds of content on his channel about Bear shaft tuning. It's great information and it works. You just got to stick with it. If you want to go the easy button route like what we're doing here, you can obviously do that. But I just want to throw that in there.
Yep.
You know, that's down another rabbit hole and you can go down that over there. But broadheads, what do you got? Magnus single bevel?
Yep, I got the Magnus single bevel.
That's what you killed the pig with last night?
Yep. Been using these for the last year now. I think last summer is when I switched over to these.
Sirius Supernova Arrow 250 spine.
Yep.
With a 150 grain Magnus single bevel. And that's, like I said, you can do that Ranch Very easy button to build that. I'm shooting the same thing, except the pig that I killed last night was with a new one. It's, no, there it is. It's dirty.
We like it.
Because it hit the dirt on the other side of the pig. That's the Magnus single bevel, what is that, buzz cut? Is that what it's called?
That's the 125 too.
That's the 125? Really?
Yeah, it is.
Yep, there you go.
That's the newest offering, the 125 Magnus single bevels. So for some of you guys who think you want to.
We got them on our website. We have the Magnus straight single bevel that Ted just showed you. And we've got these with the buzz cuts on them if you want to try that. And then we also have the Magnus Black Hornets.
The foamer.
Yep. We've had a lot of luck with these over the years. Most of us are on the single bevel train right now, but these things work great too in case you don't want a single bevel and you want something with bleeders, more of a 4-blade style broadhead. These things are awesome.
Great.
Mike started building the 150s in these a couple years ago,
Great
so they're
heads.
even beefier.
Yep.
Those are good option too. Nick, you've also got same one?
Yeah, I'm
Magnus
shooting the same as Ted, the straight slick single bevel. I did last summer shot the those buzz cuts and killed a pig with those, but since then I've been shooting just the regular slick single bevel.
Yep. And if you want to sharpen any of those curved heads, or really any of these heads I got in here, you can look at that Work Sharp Precision Adjust. We did a video on that not too long ago on the channel about how to sharpen broadheads. We won't get in the weeds on that too far, but that works great for sharpening broadheads for really any of these. We've been going to that one. We've shot the Magnus Stinger in the past. This is a head that I used to shoot a lot and had great luck with this one, the Cutthroat single bevel.
That's what I'm going to this year.
Yep, and the Ranch Fairy single bevel is also a one-piece head. And in our testing yesterday, and in past years, it's like you want to go super tough, super durable, one-piece solid steel head that's the way to go.
Whistled it through that pig's head yesterday.
Yeah, the Ranch Fairy 200.
Uh-huh.
These are Cutthroat 150s. This is the head I was using when I broke the humerus ball on that buck a few years ago.
Yeah.
You can also buy those, like with this already on there. We just pulled this out of there, and Mitch just barely touched his arm hair, and his reaction was because it was full of hair. Yeah,
that's good.
Pretty freaky.
Yeah, that's good. Those are, I mean, they're great heads. But those, I mean, it's pretty simple. We don't use a whole bunch of different ones. But I'm thinking about this year in elk season, I may change from a 560-ish grain arrow with the Magnus 150 single bevel to a Ranch Fairy 200. You know, because we sent these through a pig's skull yesterday. That's super overdrive. But it will, on the steel on these Magnuses, when you get in that super heavy bone, it'll start to roll up a little bit. Yeah, you want to go super, super durable.
The one-piece head yesterday was pretty shocking.
Oh,
how sharp
yeah.
it was after it went through the pig's skull, because you hit it in a hard spot.
Yeah.
We weren't messing around.
No. So that kind of gives you, there's levels to this, I guess, kind of depending on what you want to do. These heads with the ferrules, you know, like the Black Hornets and these single bevels or the Magnus Stingers are great. They're awesome deer hunting heads. But if you want to step up in durability, then you're going to stuff like that.
Yeah, one piece, machined.
Oh, scary. Mention if you all got more questions about arrows, broadheads, and stuff, please leave it in the comments. That's where we get inspiration to do these types of videos, because we don't think about a lot of the most frequently asked questions until you all ask them.
And I will answer you. So reach out to me, I'll help you. There's not a lot of help in this crazy world of arrows. People apparently don't respond and stuff, trying to help people tune stuff. I've got full tuning videos, how to tune fletched arrows, how to tune with broadheads. You're gonna have to put in a little bit of work, but it'll really help your arrow flight and penetration.
Learn to knock tune.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
It's magical.
Go through it one arrow at a time.
That's right.
And just turn the knock. Just a quarter turn.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, boom, bullets.
Yep.
And then mark the arrow. That's another thing I was doing yesterday when we put that lighted knock on there. See that little Sharpie mark on the shaft?
Yep.
I learned that from ranch too a few years ago. Because if you go all white fletch and you don't mark these fletches, you don't know exactly where your knock position is. But I was shooting darts with it in that position. So I just marked it so that I know where to put my knock now.
And that's because he pulled his knock, his standard knock, and wanted to put a lighted knock in. If you marked the shaft for the knock tune, then you can put any knock in that same exact position. So you go through all the reps and you don't mark them, and it's like, I forgot about that.
And you gotta start over.
And I've done that a lot.
All right, anything else?
No.
I think that's it. Hopefully that helped, guys. Holler if you got questions.
Absolutely.